G'day folks, hope you're doing well. So have you seen as the title of this video, then you definitely know what I'm going to be talking about in this one, as it's not usually to what I upload onto this channel. However, as you saw the other video, as I explained why I quit TruckersMP quite recently, and I did mention the management that I worked for free for volunteering. Well, and I did say that in another video like this, that I would upload that and discuss the management, because I definitely do, think they should be discussed, because I definitely think there shouldn't not be, having that particular team get away with it. And what I mean by team, I mean like the management. So I just call it the management. So we're gonna get started with this. I did record, about 50 minutes of this last night, 2 nights ago, and I ranted a bit too much because I was quite angry and I wanted to get it done. So when I was hearing myself, I couldn't really understand because I was talking too fast. But I've written, parts of it down so I can get through it step by step, so it's much more easier. Then I don't have to rush this. So yeah, just trying to make it a bit professional. Anyways, we're gonna get started here. So I've listed this down, bit by bit, as I said, so it's actually easier to understand. So just first of all, as an introduction, I used to be an in-game moderator, or as they say, an admin in TruckersMP, and I applied back in August 31st, 2020, and I got accepted, and I got into the team, I got into the training, and then I was promoted to a web report moderator, and then eventually a game moderator. So I would like to explain, like how it's all ended up in the end, and why I'm at this point talking about it. Because I did talk about my position and why I left in another stream, and if you see the annotations on the top right, you'll see that pop up. If I remember, I did put it there, but as you can see, there was a stream there. Basically, in the end, I'm basically labelled as this bad representation of TruckersMP, essentially insulting the management and the team, which is not even true, but I'll get to that. So, I was just going to go through a quick run through as the introduction, as I did before, but, well, I'll get started with how I applied, how I got accepted. Well, I'm not going to explain how I got accepted, but I'll just explain like how much time it took me, to actually get through the team, in promotion process. Like I say, nearly consumed every day for volunteering, and I definitely do not think that this job, well, it's not a job, it's volunteering, but it definitely felt like the job. So as you see the title, as it says beware, I'm basically explaining to you guys, and ones that should know if they think about applying for that particular position, you need to be aware of this management, because of what they've done to me. It could happen to anyone else. Anyways, as I was a web reporter at the time in January, I was in like 4 months in the position after training, and just to quickly go through what the training was like, well, I spent like nearly about like for 2 weeks of the training, almost every day. Felt like a job, but it was just training. You just turn it up in real life or something like that. No, that's what it felt like. But it was just constant, consumed every single night in those 2 weeks. So then I get to the web report position, the report moderator position in January, right? Now, as you folks know, that I'm a content creator. I work on YouTube. Not really a job, but a hobby right now. Close to being a job. But I nearly lost it in January, and not many people know this. I tried to explain it before in the video, but not many paid attention, because not many of my viewers pay attention, So as I'm doing the work, for the game moderation management, because as the manager, I was just a moderator. And how I nearly lost the channel? Well, how I was trained, for this particular process. Like, let's say for an example, I nearly lost my channel due to copyright strikes. It was 2 copyright strikes. I was 1 copyright strike away. So when someone made a report and they did something wrong, I had to download the footage and re-upload it on my end, and I used my second channel for that, because that's what we had to do, you know. Well, in 2 cases like that, and I had like 8 clips of that, 2 of those users got angry and they reported the video for, you know, copyright violation, and they took it down. And due to YouTube's, you know, outrageous copyright system, I'm pretty sure it got accepted like automatically, because they fit the same thing. Now just remember, because this is an important note, all the footage you see, SCS software, they made Euro Truck Simulator 2. Alright, TruckersMP is a it's a modification for TruckersMP. I mean, a modification for ETS2, I'm sorry. And it just allows multiplayer. The footage I'm re-uploading all belongs to SCS. And that's what I'm told to do by my training and managers. And I'm not going to get into detail of that because there's rules that still apply to me even though I left. But that's a part of the rules. So I eventually resolved the situation. I contacted the users and I get solved. But I was a very, in a very strife position, and I was on the edge of leaving the team, because that could have been at the point in January where I was about to be promoted to a game moderator that I nearly lost my channel. Well, I nearly did, but it could have happened. Anyways, so as I was a game moderator at the time, through February, then March, and then April. When it would get to April, and this year, now I decided to leave, and I'll explain why I left, and I did explain this in the stream, but it definitely needs to be. It's because I'm putting this all together. Now I left the team due to one main reason. Alright, well there's 2 main reasons in this regard, okay? One of them was the ignition, and the other, well that was the main reason, that was a ventral. Okay? Now let's say that if there wasn't any, what's the word? Intervention. I don't know if that's the word. If I wasn't told, because I'll just explain this. When the work was nearly, this voluntary stuff, it was almost affecting every day. It didn't feel like a voluntary job. I mean, it wasn't voluntary. It felt like a job. I was doing this almost every day. Then I wasn't able to keep up with YouTube. You see, the first third of the year, I was not able to keep up with my YouTube activity. So then I had to start doing Starfrag streams, like in-game streams. And many of the moderators have done that before. I just picked up my idea upon that, and I need to do that. Eventually I would have been doing that. I just need to do it earlier in that time, which I did. Now here's the problem. In April, I get a message from my team leader saying that one of these streams need to be unlisted. Okay? Why? Because he sends me a screenshot or mentions a rule that I agreed to, and these are part of the internal rules, that the ban evidence, or what they so call it, needs to be unlisted. Now, I can go all over ban evidence here. Just to first off, with the ban evidence, right? They basically want, because I had 4 streams of in-game work, moderation work, and most of it was pretty much, me sitting in one spot or going around randomly kicking and teleporting players. Some of it did result in bans. I wasn't doing any in-game reports. I only banned users if I had to, and what I mean by that is if a user was affecting another user in front of me, I had to take action. So that becomes ban evidence. Anyways, I didn't want to take their streams down, because if I did, I'm going to have a lot of users asking me, why did I take them down? And they're getting me a lot of views, which has helped me a lot. And a lot of people enjoyed it, not just for my benefit, but also everyone else's, because they enjoy that stuff. It's the thing, all across YouTube. You can see it. This stuff is years old. However, the management don't care. They don't care at all. So now I take this to the management. Now I say, like, look, I nearly lost my channel back in January. Why should I have to take these streams down? Because apparently it didn't follow one of the internal rules, which was ban evidence. And that rule was, alright, and I can't say much information because, You know, people in the public don't know. But it's only one rule. That the ban evidence needs to be unlisted, as we can, however, we can stream public. So we can stream public, but we must keep it unlisted after, which makes no sense. Now eventually, as I'm discussing this with one of the managers, they say that ban evidence needs to be unlisted because it's confidential. And confidential basically means secret. Okay? So how does streaming it public make it confidential? As you give us the right to stream it public, how does it make it confidential? How is it a secret? So eventually I'll be showing DMs on the screen. I'll try not to show any of the names because I don't want to point any names out. Yeah, I just want to point to the team in general. You know, the management, not anyone in particular. So let me just go through a round of what ban evidence is. So they say that ban evidence, well, what is ban evidence? Alright, now ban evidence can mean different things, or how you put it. Okay, here's the thing. The main thing about ban evidence is basically it's footage, and there's users controlling trucks, and one of them doesn't follow the rules and they affect another, and that results in a ban. That becomes ban evidence. Okay, but what they're telling me in Discord is that it becomes ban evidence when I hit the ban button. Okay, I have one problem with that. As I've looked into the internal rules, they say that the admin panels in-game are public knowledge. That's still true. I don't know where that is in the rules. I've lost it. However, I can prove it right now. The admin panels you see, and this is in all across YouTube, about 5 to 6 years ago, they were all the same. Maybe not 6 years ago, but definitely 4 to 5 years ago. They're the same thing. It's not changed. The admin panels that you see from that time ago are still the same. So therefore, it's not a secret because everyone knows what it looks like. Now, sure, it's something that they don't want the public to see, but it's already seen. You know. And the users see this stuff, and they say, "Oh, I want to do this work," you know, and that's why they want to apply, and that's why they want to watch moderators online, streams, and Twitch, you know, ban these people, you know, that I've seen the work done. Anyways, I didn't want to take those streams down, because if I did, the work would be wasted. The analytics of those streams wouldn't count, and people would be asking me why did I take them down. Here's the thing, ban evidence, right? Now, during my time before I applied to be a game moderator, I had made so many reports. I was addicted to making reports, and I was intentionally just making reports constantly when driving on the city road. And of course that's not allowed, and I don't do that anymore. But this is a thing, like, across the years when I was playing on TruckersMP, there were that many users trolling and affecting me. I just created enough reports to the point where I couldn't stop myself. It was just addicting. And it's not just me, but a lot of users in the community, they just make, you know, reports for the sake of it. Or there's enough reports, alright, that only a few users, like most of the users only need to make a few, then it still counts as a lot because there's so many users. There's thousands of users on the servers every day. And every day, there's always trolls. So you have that many reports. I'm not going to say the number, because I'm not allowed to say the number. I'm out. Now, we're not told, like in the rules, when you create a report, we're not told to keep that footage unlisted. Because when you record the footage, right? And you send that link to the report, and that gets accepted, they're not telling you to keep it unlisted. You could leave it public. And I know users that use it for ban compilations. However, if it's from a staff's perspective, you can't leave it. You can't use it for for crash compilations. I didn't mean ban compilations. I meant crash compilations. And I've done that before I applied. You know, I had a whole bunch of reports accepted, and I used those clips that were used in for those reports, and I used them as crash compilations. And I have 4 of those. And I'm not being told to put them unlisted. However, it's only different when we have a button that we hit ban on, then it becomes confidential? How is it confidential when you allow us to stream those streams? How is it confidential when you allow us to stream the in-game work to the public when, like, so let's say, you know, for a community manager that does the stuff like Shark Brugen, you know, potentially like 40 to 50 people watching, they've seen that stuff, but that needs to be hidden afterwards. Yeah, not buying it. And that rule didn't make sense to me. And I was like, yeah. Because here's the thing, guys. Eventually, I would have made my decision to leave the team in May due to the work. If they didn't tell me to take those streams down in April, I would have left in May. Somewhere in May, I don't know where in May, but to the point where I really needed to keep up with my YouTube and my life, because this was also affecting my life. So yeah, as I'm showing some of the DMs, you can see that I'm answering questions to the management. I don't know if you can see them, because I'd be checking to see if they actually is confidential or not. Because the rules that apply to me, all the stuff are included, it's meant to be confidential. However, the thing is, the ban evidence is not part of the other rules I applied. And I'm allowed to say what those other rules are, and a lot of companies use this. It's called the ISB. Now that doesn't violate anything. That's just a system that companies use to not allow information, you know, to be let out in the public. So I'm mentioning what that system is. But ban evidence is not part of that. Anyways, I asked that manager in Discord. I say, look, you know, I don't want to take the streams down. You know, it's going to affect my channel. And I'm told take it down because they don't care. And I don't understand the rule. You know, they say it's rules, but you don't see behind the rules. You don't see the logic of the rules. I can't follow rules if I don't understand the logic of it. Anyways, then I eventually ask, yo, if I leave the team, can I keep those streams up? And that manager wrote in Discord, he said, yes, you can, but at the expense of your TruckersMP account. I'll look at it right here. It says, okay, so you can leave the team and keep the evidence up at the expense of your TruckersMP account. If you do not take these videos, whether you're in the team or not, the project coordination will be involved, and a ban on your TruckersMP account for ISP violation is very probable. Please note these are permanent bans, meaning you can never play on our servers again, nor the team. Now at this point, I'm basically being threatened over a permanent ban. But what they're telling me, and I'll get to that eventually, they say I wasn't threatened with a permanent ban. Okay, well, what do you call this? Am I being told that if I don't take their streams down and I leave the team, then it will be permanently banned? Because what they're telling me is that the project coordination will be involved, and a permanent ban was very probable, even though the ban evidence is not part of the ISB, which is insane to me. The ban evidence is part of the internal rules. So there's two sections. And trust me, I'm trying to, you know, not say as much information as much as I can. So now I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure they're serious because I know these managers. And I just decided, you know, to take down their streams. I could have put them unlisted, however, you know, as I didn't agree to them, I didn't like them after that point. I was like, okay, I'm just going to make it look like they told me to directly take it down, so I just took it down completely, you know. Because if I can't keep them in public, then what's the point of even putting it in unlisted? Also, the users can see it. Okay, but I've already clipped parts of those streams and re-uploaded them as ban evidence. Alright, as you say. And also, the second channel I have under the username, JWS97, that channel, alright, there's only one video public, but all of it that's unlisted. All the other stuff, that's all the ban evidence they're referring to. Alright, the only ban evidence they're referring to is the ones in those streams, and they contain the least amount of footage in those streams. Everything else in the streams are not ban evidence. But because, let's say for an example, if one of my streams were like 5 hours long, and I was just randomly kicking kicking and teleporting players and talking with my viewers, you know, because if I just banned one person, the whole thing would just become banned evidence. The whole stream would just become banned evidence to them. Anyways, I tell the manager that I took him down, and due to this decision, I decided to leave the team. As you also noticed, I also noted that the work I couldn't deal with. It was consuming up most of the time, and the only break we had was Christmas, which is insane. You know, we're not getting any other breaks. Because if I'm doing this every single day, then it's not voluntary. Like, what is this? That should be a job. And if I'm agreeing to rules that still apply to me when I leave the team or get kicked out of it, then that's a contract for a job. It's insane. So then I leave the team at that point, and then I wanted to talk about them, you know, because at that point I didn't like them, or what they did to me. They wasted my time. So I wanted to talk about them, and I did in a different stream, where it was a channel update stream, and, you know, I try to hide that stuff by using that title, and I did talk about it because I didn't want to do it openly because I thought the management would be, you know, listening. So eventually, you know, in May, I recovered from all the work I did in the first third of the year, and including like October, November, December. Yeah, it was insane. And when I left the team, I honestly felt freedom after that. I felt freedom. Because I was like, I don't have to do this. Because all this work was repetitive, you know? Sure, like, as a moderator, you're handling reports. Okay? And when you ban people, you get appeals. Okay? And if you get appeals, and you say no to them on stuff, or when you decline them, or even if they have the right to appeal, they come over to different platforms that you have, like Discord, Steam, YouTube, and they start affecting you from there, which clearly did. They came over to my channel, and these are users I just banned, right? And they're playing the service I'm a moderator on, and I'm just simply doing my job. No, but they come over because they get mad. They come look at the links I have. They contact me through Steam. They come flying through my Discord server. They also contact me over the forums, and they also contact me through the YouTube and start disliking my content, which is extremely unhelpful. Anyway, it was just driving me insane. So we get into June, and I wrote to them, yo, look, because I wanted to talk about my experience and why I left. And I thought, with all the knowledge I've learnt, you know, throughout that time by being in the team, surely there's a lot of things I shouldn't say in the public. So I made a ticket, you know, saying, yeah, look, I wrote a bunch of questions saying, what can I say in the public? Now just get to that and read a bit of it. So I introduced myself because I thought a different manager would pick up on it that I haven't talked to before. So I leave a description of, you know, that I was in the team in this particular time and why I left. And I wrote down questions, you know, what can I say? However, this is the point where I find out that they've labelled me as this, you know, person who, you know, did their work for personal benefits. But I'll read you the ticket here. But just first of all, they're telling me that I'm not allowed to share the ticket. They're saying it's for my eyes only, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's actually ridiculous. Because here's the thing, right? I'm not on the team anymore, alright? If they're writing me stuff, you know, if they're writing me stuff that's only meant for the staff, then why are they, you know, sending me stuff like that? Because I'm not on the staff anymore. So technically I could share it. However, for their purposes, I'll just cut up most of it and just highlight some stuff. So I'm reading through this, and it's like, this shouldn't violate anything at all. So anyways, the first line, this manager wrote, "Thank you for contacting us regarding our inquiry. This is an important topic that could have far-reaching consequences when misunderstood. So it was a good decision to reach us out before publishing anything about your experiences with our team. Now this line, yeah, it shouldn't violate anything at all, right? You have left our team because you do not agree with our internal rules in regards to your streaming and publication of ban evidence. It is unfortunate that we cannot come to agreement and that you felt that your work do not bring any benefits if you do not have the ability to upload your footage. As you are aware, we are volunteers that invest spare time to keep this project running. Okay, we're all volunteers, right? Alright. Everyone in the team has a purpose, well, has a reason to be a volunteer. It's spare their time. Okay, for me, I was nearly spending every day trying to get work done. You know? And I had no choice about that. Well, I did have a choice, otherwise I just left. We had the system, I won't say what the system is, but we had to do a certain amount per week out of 4 weeks a month. It just never stopped. It was just repetitive. And every time we didn't finish this amount that we were supposed to, we get told by a higher role saying, why didn't we finish it? They're so strict. Now, as continuing as they wrote, every staff member has their own reasons to motivate them to volunteer. Based on the aforementioned facts, here we go. We have to conclude that you were in it for personal gain only, and that you were not willing to stay if you were not allowed to publish ban evidence for content. The tools and information that you have access to as part of our team are meant to do your job efficiently and not to create content for personal gains. If that was your sole motivation to join the team, then you were in it for the wrong incentives. Now you see what they just did there. They just told me that based upon aforementioned facts, that I was using the tools of a GM for personal gain. Now I'm going to outright say that I never used the tools for personal gain. And how could I use the tools for personal gain? If I was using the tools for personal gain, I would not be doing their work. Now I must mention that in April, right, I was doing more work than I was supposed to, because I was trying to keep my management happy. And also, while I was in this team, I was spending more time than ever. Like, when I was in this team, this was spending up so much time. This was the thing that was spending up most of my time, like every day, almost every day, because I had to write down a schedule. Right? It just didn't work. I needed time off, and every time I took a break, like for let's say a few days, then I have to do a lot, because everything was just stacking up. So what they're telling me right here is that they're basically insulting me. They're saying, you know, they were concluding me as if I was using ban evidence for content. Okay, how am I using ban evidence for content? No, but when they're saying that when I was using the ban evidence for content, what they're saying is they're mentioning their streams, alright, and what they so-call ban evidence, right? I'll mention again, the streams, those streams I did, alright, and I needed to start doing those streams because the work they were making me do, it was affecting, right, not just my life but also my YouTube activity. I needed to start doing something that would benefit, you know, my channel. And get work done in-game, importantly. Not just doing it for one side, but with both sides. And that worked. It was keeping me motivated to stay in the team. Yeah, but as I said, I would have left the team somewhere in May. No, but they're outright insulting me here. They're saying that I did it for personal gain. This is one of the outrageous things I ever read. How could they ever say that I was doing the work for personal gain? I was spending nearly every day doing it, and if I was doing the work for personal gain, I would not be doing the work at all. I'd probably I would most likely be kicked out if I was not doing the work. And how could I be using the ban evidence for content? Bro, those are streams where I'm like sitting in one spot or moving around busy areas on the simulation servers. You know, sorting an area out so where it's not clogged by trolls. I'm there to help those players out and moderate, as every other moderator is doing. I'm basically doing the same thing as Shark Bruden. However, what he's doing is he's doing in-game reports. I wasn't doing that. So therefore, the only ban evidence you're seeing in those streams is the one where I have to issue action at a certain point when I'm seeing a user get affected by another user. And then saying that when I'm doing those streams in public and leaving them in public and left because they told me to take it down, they say I was using the minutes for content. Anyways, the second line here I'm not going to show because it does include something about the ISP, So I'm not going to show that. And especially with the third one, the last one, yeah, I won't. I'll only show the first one and the first line, the second line. I won't show anything else. That should be pretty much fair, because this, like this second line that you're seeing, right, when they about the aforementioned facts thing, that needs to be like, that is, you need. I can't understand. What the hell do they mean by aforementioned facts? Okay, and what are those aforementioned facts? That you read the discussion I had with that manager on Discord? Bro, they can't even prove, my point. They don't even know what it was like for me. And how could they prove I was doing it for personal gain? Do they know me? Alright, so I wrote back, and I wrote like a lot. So everything I just explained about Ben Evans, that was pretty much in this whole second big line I wrote in this ticket. Now, I'm basically just disagreeing with them. I did not do the work for personal gain, and saying how outrageous this is, and they didn't answer my questions, so I left out examples again. But when they responded again, they kept copy and pasting the ISB, which I'm not going to show, which doesn't help me at all. Yeah, because that doesn't exactly say, okay, that doesn't tell me if all the things I was going to say to the public would be allowed or not, because the things I'm referring to are not even part of this. So they just expect me to know, which is kind of ridiculous. And I said to them, well, if I say something that you don't want me to say in public, well, that's your fault, because you didn't answer my questions properly. Now, I'll get to the next outrageous thing. Like, this is insane right here. And another thing before that, I didn't write it down, the sections here. Anyways, so you'll notice that I'll just show some of this line, not all of it. So as they wrote as a next response, in regards to your entire second paragraph, my reply can be quite short. We do our staff a favor by allowing them to stream, as we are aware of the potential positive contributions to the community. It creates interaction and possibly understanding as to why certain situations and decisions are not always easy as it might seem. However, we also expect our team members to understand videos if they contain bad evidence. That was our rule, whether any of us agree or not. And it is something that you explicitly agreed to by signing these part of the rules, the internal rules they have. As you can see, I'll cut some of that because I'm not going to show all of that. Anyway, everything else, cut out. But as you just saw me wrote there, I mean, what you saw me just read there, I meant. What they're saying about potential positive contributions, what they're basically telling me here is that bad evidence brings potential positive contributions. That's what they're telling me here. So they're saying that, okay, as we give all the team members a privilege to stream the staff work in game. Alright, it brings potential positive contributions to the community. Okay. And what those streams that you so-called ban evidence, right? Are you saying that the ban evidence brings potential positive contributions? Yeah, that's what I don't understand here. You're saying that's what they're basically telling me here. Or is it what they're telling me is that my streams were completely different and they were just exactly ban evidence? I know, I'm pretty sure they didn't even look at the streams at all, which is insane to me. I bet they didn't even check these streams. And by the way, those streams that they're referring to, I've downloaded those streams, so I could technically show you and probably re-upload them. I'm allowed to do that, and I'll explain why. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to mention is the community managers. One of the community managers. I'm allowed to say his name because, well, it's on Twitch. It's in public, so it's Shark Brugen. And well, he pretty much does. Well, I was doing the same thing that he was doing. However, he has more viewers watching at the same time. He's streaming Starfrick in game, right? He doesn't exactly put their streams unlisted afterwards because Twitch has a different system. So, and I'll just say this right now: Shark Brugen is literally making money off of ban evidence, right? based upon, you know, what the management calls those streams ban evidence. Now, I pointed out that Shark Brujan is doing this, and he's not, you know, following the rules. Now, what he's actually doing, because that the fact, well, he can't, you know, set streams to unlisted. I'm pretty sure you can't do that on Twitch. What he's doing instead, he's putting it in a way that leave it private. However, open to people who actually get a subscription to see those streams. So no, it's technically not safe from the public. The public can still see them. The reason the management want these streams unlisted is they don't want people seeing those streams because they want the users, you know, evidence to be private. Alright? Now here's the difference. They're telling, because I'm doing the streams on YouTube, I can unlist them. But on Shark Brujan, he can't unlist those streams. He's putting it in a way where if you pay a subscription, you know, to pay a certain amount of money, you know, per month, you'll be able to access the previous streams, and that's what he said it as. So basically, it's a door, alright? He has an unlocked door. You just have to pay a bit of money per month to go through that door. And you give a key and you go through the locked door. It's not exactly unlocked. But it's not exactly not safe from the public. The public could just do this and actually see it. However, for me, if I set them unlisted on YouTube, the public can't see it. However, the public still technically can, because if they were notified with the streams I went live with, they still have that link and they can still see it. So no, it's not completely safe. It's only technically safe if I put it on private, but the users can't see it otherwise. So Shark Brujan is literally making money off their streams, and I thought, you know, maybe the Game Motion management would pay attention to that. Oh no, they didn't. And basically they do not care at all, because I'll just also highlight this point. As you can see, you cannot, as they write, you know, as I wrote this in the next response, as the response I was just reading recently, they write, you cannot point fingers or claim preferential treatment just because someone else might have followed the same rule. We will not further discuss the purpose of this rule in this ticket, as you are no longer a member of our team. Wow. Because I'm no longer a member of our team. Okay. So you're saying if there are rules that still apply to me, and I do not have a right to discuss what those rules are? You know, allowed to discuss them? Because I could be violating something and I may not know what I'll be violating, you know, because I'm not allowed to discuss those rules. Or what if they were changed and they still apply to me? What the hell do you mean by I can't discuss this rule in the ticket? Which is insane to me. They basically do not care about the fact that Shark Brujan is literally making money off of ban evidence. Right? He's using those streams, you know, because people, you know, they have to pay to get access to see those streams. But no, but the management so call those streams ban evidence. You see what I mean? Which is insane to me. Now, I wrote in the next, I responded to them basically saying that we cannot agree the same, and saying that, okay, if those rules do still apply to me, you know, it's basically considered as a contractor for a job, and, you know, basically saying that my explanations from my point of view will not get through, and saying that I still can't believe how, you know, you conclude me as using the tools for personal gain. So then they write the next response, and again I'm also cutting up most of this because, you know, ISB information or stuff like that. So they replied again, and basically, like, there's probably only one part I can show out of this, the final response in this ticket, and what that is, that they're basically telling me that the internal rules don't apply to me anymore, but the ISP still does. Now here's the thing. The ban evidence rule is part of the internal rules. Now here's the crazy thing here. As I mentioned that in this ticket, in my second response, that I was threatened by a permanent ban by one of the managers. And they're telling me that I was not threatened with the permanent ban. However, as I've read, that one of the managers in Discord, back in April, on the verge of leaving, you know, literally told me that if, you know, I could leave the team and keep their streams up, but a permanent ban was very probable via the project coordination of them getting involved. I was told that the permanent ban was mostly likely, for simply keeping those streams up. Here's the thing. If I left, what I basically just understood by saying that the internal rules don't apply to me, and I've learned that. Basically, if I left the team and kept their streams up, I should not be permanently banned at all. But what that manager was telling me is that I would have been permanently banned. You can't have it both ways. You can't just say I was going to get permanently banned and say I was never threatened with a permanent ban. That's insane. And say that the internal rules don't apply to me. And obviously there's a gap in their rules. But they don't see it. They don't care. When I mention it, they don't care. Anyways, that's probably the only thing I could probably show in that final response in that ticket. So I'm going to move on from that. So, yeah, in June, it was at the time where I got sick twice, and then July, I, tried to move on and try to compensate the first third of the year by trying to upload as much content as I can, And then in August, I attempt to contact them again, and I was demotivated at the time, and this was due to the game moderation management. I contact them again on the 13th of August. I'm basically on Discord first, say, can I discuss this, type of thing here? And this was a different manager. I said, no, you gotta go on the feedback system. So I did that, and I wrote again on the feedback system. I created another ticket, and I basically, just wrote I was respectful at the same time. Just remember that. And I wanted a second opinion from a different manager, because I thought, all the managers had their different opinions. Anyways, what I'm being told is that apparently isn't not true. I also say, like, I'm not just a second opinion, but I also say that, look, from what I was told, none of this adds up, and I'm trying to process this, and I don't like being, labelled as this bad representation to TruckersMP. And, and I thought, and I said to them I was thinking about joining again just so we could have better communication, actually work this out, but not literally joining the team again, like just to have a discussion. But yeah, this is where it goes completely off the rails as I read you the response from this other manager. Okay, so yeah, this is how they responded. Thank you for getting back in touch with us via our feedback system. It has confused us a great deal why you wish to rejoin the game moderation team after making the comments that you made about us in your recent YouTube videos, and are continuing to say in your clear disagreements with us on subjects revolving around your choice to leave us in the first place. I must recommend and insist you do not waste your time with reapplying, as unfortunately, with respect, we collectively do not wish to have you return to our team due to the comments you've made publicly about us, released about us, essentially putting us down as a team, regardless of what your intentions behind it were, or what your intentions or what your actions are now. There's no real need to go into detail on that. You said your piece, and it's very clear to us what your words meant. We found the way you went about your videos highly disrespectful to ourselves and TruckersMP as a whole, so it would therefore not make much sense for us to recruit you back as a staff member at all. And in all honesty, as I have explained above, it doesn't make much sense for you to be looking to reapply on these terms either. If you do not like the way we manage our game moderation team staff members, why do you wish to return and continue to be managed by us anyway? Aside from this, you seem to have just reiterated what has taken place prior to this point ever since your decision to leave us. Our stance on that remains the same. You were not threatened with a permanent ban, and we have done all we can to assist you with the inquiries made in the ticket responses posted. With that being said, I refer you to your previous ticket here. As otherwise, I will be simply repeating what this other management has already said to you on these subjects, as we do not have anything else more to say on the matter than what has been said here and there. Please note. Anyways, that's about the feedback. So what they just said there was that it doesn't matter what my intentions were behind it, either it was respectful or disrespectful. They don't care, alright? And whatever my words meant, it was insulting to them, apparently. Even though I did not even insult anyone in that live stream. And why would I, as it would hurt my reputation, why would I insult anyone in a public live stream on my channel? As I mentioned about doing that in the previous ticket. It's insane to me. They say that we found the way you went about your videos highly disrespectful to ourselves and TruckersMP as a whole. They're basically telling me that I disrespected TruckersMP as a whole. That I disrespected the community. So are they saying I disrespected the entire team? Or just the managers? Well, they're saying they say I was essentially putting them down as a team. Now that's a big lie there, because I recently went back to that stream, listened to that stream about 3 weeks ago, and I did not even hear myself say one thing, like either disrespecting them. I was simply, saying what was deserved to be said. It was also my opinion, and saying what the things I didn't like about being in the team, and how they treated the managers, how they treated me, and. And basically because they were the ones who insulted me by saying that based upon aforementioned facts that they concluded me as using the tools for personal gain and used bad evidence for content. They've labelled me as this bad representation to TruckersMP. Or either to the team, or to their note, or to the whole community. I don't know how they've done that. Or where they've placed that across. Okay? But that's another reason why I left TruckersMP. Because how are they labeling me? They're basically insulting me. They insulted my character. I never did their work for personal gain. And what they're saying is very delusional. They're saying that I was insulting them, which was not even true. And they're also misreading what I'm saying, because they're just assuming that that I wish to rejoin the Game Motion team. No. I said I want a better communication. I said if I was thinking about joining so we could have better communication, to try out to say something positive, Man. And as you also see, as they write, aside from this, you seem to have just reiterated what has been taking place prior to this point ever since your decision to leave us. Our stance on that remains the same. He's just basically saying the same thing as the other manager said in that ticket. He's just saying our stance on that remains the same. He's also saying that, and this is a different manager by the way, he just said that he also agrees with the other manager, or saying that I was using the tools for personal gain and bad evidence for content, which is never true. And they won't explain why. They won't tell me why they label me on this. They just won't. So then I write my next response. Yeah, I play all the cards here at this point. I'll get to that right now. I'm going to read all of it. So, anyways. So I wrote, and I was also respectful at the same time. Just remember that. Hello, respectful game moderation managers. This is it then. No matter how many times I explain my side of the story, I'll be labelled as this bad representation to your team, and it's clearly obvious to me that now you are making up excuses to end the discussion. You literally almost skipped everything I said in this ticket, and now you assume I wish to rejoin the team again, as if I made that decision just recently, as this just proves you're misreading what I wrote, and when I clearly mentioned that I was thinking about it for a potential positive outcome, when I pretty much know already that it will most likely not happen. And not only when I had mentioned about me thinking about you joining the Game Motion team, I was also thinking about joining the event team instead. So again, I'm probably more confused than you are when you assumed I wished to join again. How can you find it very clear that I insulted the management and TruckersMP as a whole, essentially putting your team down? I'm quite surprised you believe this, as I recently went back and listened to the stream where I discussed my experience as a staff member, and I could definitely say that I did not insult anyone in the team nor anyone in the TruckersMP community. I pretty much just shared my opinion of being in the team, while explaining the experience and discussing in detail why I chose to leave. Why would I choose to insult anyone in a public live stream, as that would hurt my reputation, and I already know that the management would be listening to the fact I mentioned the idea in the previous feedback ticket. I was respectful at the same time, while I of course had my disagreements with your system. The only reason I would think you assumed my words were insulting was because I wanted to get off my shoulders The only reason I would think you assumed my words were insulting was due to the tone of my voice, which in fact, yes, I do have that type of voice when I was frustrated, and my friends know this. I really wanted to share my experience in that stream because I wanted to get it off my shoulders, and I doubt it'll hurt your reputation or made you look bad. I can't expect everyone who listens to the stream to automatically think negatively about the management, and I can currently confirm that there should have been no effect, as there are no comments in the stream agreeing to what I'm saying. My viewers usually do not pay much attention to what I say, and when it comes to something affecting my YouTube activity, and the only viewers who would actually listen to the stream are the ones who are looking to apply, and they should get an idea what the position is like before joining. Yes, this may sound like I'm preventing users from applying, but that's not true, as I'm simply just giving them a heads up about the current flaws, and you never know that users who do apply to get accepted may get into the same situation as me. Maybe I wouldn't have that tone in my voice if my character wasn't insulted by being told that based upon aforementioned facts that I was concluded of using the tools of a GM for personal gain, and only left the team because I could no longer upload Ben Evans for content. Again, not true at all, but I know you won't believe me. I respect your choice of you not allowing me back into the team, and I knew I wouldn't have that chance again, which again why I said I was thinking about it. Fun fact, I thought about this from day one when if I chose to leave the team, I may not be able to get back in, and I may end up leaving on the negative note. Yes, it does make sense for you to say that I shouldn't waste my time attempting to reply. However, what I really don't like is how you simply keep the same stance regarding to what was written in the previous feedback ticket, as in which you still conclude me as doing the work for personal gain. Do you not understand how insulting that is to me? I find it fascinating that you claim that I was insulting your team, but not realizing or noticing the fact that you basically insulted my character. It's almost as if you do not want to discuss with me anymore simply because I'm either pointing out the truth or I'm seeing the flaws in your system. If what you're saying about me was true, then I would not have been doing the work enough activity to keep up with the quotas. I will mention this again, like in the previous feedback ticket, however it being more clear. Those streams of in-game staff work, what you so-call Ben Evans, does not only show Ben Evans. In fact, Ben Evans had the least amount of footage in those streams. The only Ben Evans you see in those streams was when I had to take actions against users who were affecting other users in-game in a busy area I was moderating to keep users happy, while mostly needing to use the kick and teleport tool with a combination of simply talk with my viewers. Basically the same thing you would see from Shark Bridge and the community manager, and yet I'm not showing off any in-game reports at all. This is what I do not understand. You give us a privilege to stream our work in-game, in the public, as long as we keep the streams unlisted after they're done. There are many ways I would still show my viewers the stream even if it was unlisted, with the optional alternatives with YouTube. It's also fascinating that based upon what I was told in the previous feedback ticket, that we were given the privilege to stream staff work in-game, and that you were aware of the potential positive contributions. So with that said, as you so call my streams of staff work ban evidence, I am basically being told that the ban evidence brings positive contributions. Again, ban evidence is not being treated confidential at all, as everyday users send in evidence and reports that get accepted as they get used for crash compilations. Yes, you do have a point that ban evidence recorded from a staff's perspective is different. However, as the footage of the game still belongs to SCS software, while the admin panels in-game are still public knowledge, and I know this because I looked into the staff rules, including that most users do not mind if their ban evidence is public. I did not have one user come to me and request their ban evidence to be hidden from the public. This does not add up to the fact that yes, I was, and I will say it again, threatened or at least told by this manager that a permanent ban was very probable with the involvement of the project coordination. And when I asked him that, hey, if I leave the team, can I still keep those streams up? Again, with that said, this conflicts with what I was told based upon what this manager told me. I was told that the internal rules do not apply to me anymore when I was no longer a part of the team, which meant that the ban evidence rule didn't apply to me anymore. You can clearly see the gap in these rules when I was incorrectly informed about my optional choice when the consequences of that shouldn't happen. You wonder why I have a problem and why I keep mentioning it, including that you are probably getting tired of me mentioning my YouTube channel all the time, but you need to know back in September last year when I wrote the application saying that I was a YouTube content creator and that was my priority. You also need to remember that I nearly lost my channel with only one copyright strike away from getting it terminated due to the fact I was doing web reports and by following the instructions of such given procedure given by the training or by upper staff. From January to April, the work was becoming the priority because not only as it seemed so simple to get done, it was bringing combinations of problems I had to deal with at the same time. I could not keep up producing activity online, and therefore I had to start doing staff work in-game streams that again not only benefited me in terms of keeping up with my activity online, but also getting work done in-game. There was seriously no compensation with what my main priority was, and you couldn't just leave me alone and let me do my own thing. And if I was not told to take these streams down, I would have eventually made my choice in May that I wanted to leave simply because the work was too much, and then maybe we wouldn't have any problems, and I wouldn't have a reason to comment this way. Here's the truth. I honestly prayed to God that I would hope to get accepted into the team because I would have loved to join since I've been playing on the servers for over 3 years and wanted to take a bigger spot in the community because I thought it would be fun to help out. But it went from that to the point where the management now dislikes me and label me as this bad representation to their team, even though I spent more time than ever volunteering and getting work done more to the point than I was supposed to. You make it very hard for me to not talk about your team again to the public. When I mention the team, I mean the management. If I had the option to contact the senior management, I would have done so. However, it seems that these tickets can only be picked up by the regular management. As for now, you can lie about me all you want and label me as a bad representation to the community, while making up excuses to cut the conversations of getting into details that makes me upset. I will say again, I did not insult or disrespect your team at all, and I remember what I was told. This will most likely be the final time I respond to your team, but at least I will still get to talk with the other moderators I made friends with. But as of now, I will continue working on my YouTube and my own community to expand with my VTC. If you'd like to contact me again for a real discussion, you may so on Discord. And also write, good luck with the management and write farewell. So it was a lot. I basically wrote a lot. I played all the cards there, and basically, it took them 3 weeks to respond. This manager, and by the way, when one of the managers respond, as I said, it's not just different opinions, because I bet they share this stuff, and they all come together to think, what should we all say, in this one message. I reckon that's how they make these responses, because there's no way the same manager or a different manager would write the same thing, Anyways, I wait 3 weeks for this response, and it is just delusional, it's wasteful, and just a waste of time, because it took 3 weeks, and it's also insulting. And it just shows that they're also trying to cut the conversation, because they don't want me even talking about it at all. Anyways, I'll read it. It's clear that you don't see eye to eye with us, but we've said our piece and you've said yours. It's best that if this is finished here, and which is exactly what we'll be doing. We are very much a unit within the Game Ocean management, and I could tell you regardless who had been handling this ticket and your ticket, you would have received a response that was issued much the same way. Surely you must know that now, after having spoken to most of us and hearing the same thing through that, we have no need to desire to contact you over Discord and won't be doing that. You are the one to approach us here after all, as it seems you have nothing further you would like to add really. I'll be closing off your ticket here too, as we don't have anything more to add on top of what we've already said to you, and any other further comments would be nothing more than us repeating ourselves. Well, there you have it. That's the Game Ocean management right there. That's the whole point of this video, is to show that you should be beware, right? Now, don't don't say, don't think that all the moderators, the Red Report moderators and the game moderators, they're not, they're fine, right? Whatever we're doing, the way we handle, enforce the rules in game in the servers, or our sponsors with the appeals. It's the management, because it's all run by the management. Whatever we're doing, it's led by the management. Now, yeah, this is the point of the video. Show that these are the people that I volunteered to work for free. And I had no idea it was like this. Alright? And of course, we don't get paid. It's working free. But I had no idea how much work we had to do. And if I knew how much work I had to do, I would not have applied. And if I especially knew that the management was like this, I would not have applied at all. Right? Because they're straight up lying to me. Saying that I was never thrown with a permanent ban. Well, that's a lie. Because I was told that a permanent ban was going to happen. Right? They're completely ignoring most of everything I'm saying. They're just cutting it. That's the management right there. So that's what I'm saying. For the viewers watching, or the moderators in the team right now, you should be beware of the management. Either you're still working for them for free, or you're thinking about applying to them. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't apply to them. I'm just saying you should get a heads up. Let's say you do apply, and you don't have a problem with them. Well, that's your choice, and if either you like them or not. But I don't. And they don't like me, because they label me as a bad representation TruckersMP. And why would I even still play on their servers that they moderate on? They could permanently ban me and not care. Because I can't even contact anyone higher than the regular game moderation management. I can't contact the senior management. I can contact the project coordination. So, there you have it. This is the moderation management. And I didn't even insult them. I didn't even pick up names. But no. The management will most likely watch this. They'll listen to me. They'll hear the tone of my voice, and they'll say that I was insulting them again, which was not true. And you guys also heard that I was not insulting anyone. Anyways, before we end this, there's just also one more thing. If the management ever listens to this, here's my response. You've definitely got to sort this stuff out. I'm very unhappy with how you treated me, especially with the communication and the feedback ticket. I really do not like how you've concluded me as those, or enabling me as this bad representation of TruckersMP, basically falsely labeling me. Alright? It's not nice. I did not insult your team. Yeah? And what you're saying about me insulting your team, well, that's not true. You clearly know the gap in your rules and you don't care. You're purposely trying to cut the conversation. You know that I'm right. And you don't want the truth out. And as I said, you make it very hard for me to not talk about your team again. And look what's happened. Because I wanted to get this off my shoulders. I didn't want to let you get away with it. So I've done this. Anyways. That's me discussing about explaining the management and my experience. So, beware of them. Because this can happen to anyone, not just me. And I'll also say this is probably not the first time it's happened. There probably are other moderators that have been through this process. They've also quit. Because I don't know their reasons. Anyways, it could happen to anyone else, so beware of them. Anyways, I'm going to end this video now. If you did enjoy, leave a like, and if you have any, if you have your regards, or you'd like to discuss, your point of view, and what you think, you can always leave in the comments, and I'll respond. And yeah, see you in the next video. Until then, have a good day, and farewell, TruckersMP.